Let us discuss today's newspaper, that is 27 July 2015. Let us talk about the drop in gold prices. What are the reasons why gold prices are dropping? The first thing is increase in interest rates. The signals of increase in interest rates by the United States Fed. The reason, understand that the gold is an inventory, a store of wealth for the investors. Now, whenever other opportunities of better returns increases for the investors, they try to shift away the investments away from the gold. It means that as the economy is recovering in the United States, so the gold lost its sheen as a safe haven asset, and the US Fed bonds or UK bonds, these are becoming better destinations of investment for the investors. So generally, the second thing is, generally US dollar typically has an inverse relationship with commodity prices. Let us see why. One is most of the countries stores there or most of the people who has to buy these commodities has to use the US as an international currency. Now in this context, as US dollar price is increasing or US dollar is strengthening, automatically the cost of buying a particular good increases, and it discourages the investor to invest in that particular commodity. Let us take $1 is equivalent to 100. When dollar is strengthening, $1 becomes 150 rupees. Let us think. If it is giving 1 gram of gold or 1 gram of a commodity, so the same 1 gram of commodity is becoming 150 rupees. It means the demand is obviously has to decrease. So the buying power of the commodity becomes more, or as the buying power of our currency is decreasing and commodity becoming more expensive, it kills the demand and makes the commodity prices lower. So that is the reason why wherever US dollar typically strengthens, then the commodity prices are going to come down in that circumstances. And the next is China and Greece crisis. As the Greece crisis is over almost, now investors are ready to take up risky choices to invest in the PIGS economies. So that is this particular Italy, Greece, Spain, etc. They are Portuguese. They want to buy the treasury bonds in these particular countries as they are appears less risky now. On the China, the analysts expected that they will have a more than 3,500 tons of gold, but however, the China's treasury recently released, which it said it holds only 1,650 tons. It means that China has very less reserves of the gold that has also provided for the drop in the prices of the gold. It means more gold is under circulation. Coming to India, what is the impact it creates in India? The first thing is that the current account deficit is going to be narrowed. And the oil prices are also going to drop soon. The reason being is more and more crude is available, and global demand is also not raising to the expectations. The third thing is the shale gas in the United States is becoming available very soon. So because of this, excessive oil production capacities with decreasing demand will bring down the oil prices too, which is a welcoming sign for the Indian economy. So India, the gold has a sentimental value too. So the gold monetization scheme which the government is trying to bring in, if it is systematized, so it will have a very prospective role for the Indian balance of payment situation in the coming years. And next is Iran nuclear deal. I have covered this almost in 3 or 4 lectures. So again, if you want to mean, so what this article discusses about is the United States on one side and Iran on the other side. Why both of them have come together for a deal? So for United States, it cannot wage another war in the West Asia. So Iran is being removed from the axis of evil, and the United States wanted to have a strong ally for stabilization in Afghanistan and Iraq. That is one thing, and also in fight against Islamic State. So for that, Iran can be that strong ally. And whenever a moderate regime has come up in Iran, immediately US has sent an olive branch to the Iran, and which has finally led to this particular agreement. Now majorly in the West Asia, one is Saudi Arabia is an opponent to this, and the second is Israel is a great opponent to this. In the long run, Israel may come terms with it because what the Israel expected is to kill all the nuclear capabilities of the Iran through this particular deal. But however, the deal has only increased the lead time necessary to prepare a bomb from days to years. It means Iran still can prepare a bomb, but however, it is now the capacities are delayed. So, which Israel is not very happy. But however, soon Israel can come terms with it because Israel is the only country that is believed to be having the bomb in this region, which provides for it a primacy in the geopolitics in the region. On the other hand, Iran wants to play a greater role in the regional geopolitics. And the second thing is, the economic sanctions are also crippling its economy, and the hardships to the people are increasing. It can be seen in clear protests against the Ahmadinejad when he was said to be re-elected in the presidential elections. So in this context, this Iran-US nuclear deal appears to be a win-win situation. For India, the deal provides for a connectivity and also to the energy security, diversification of energy security, which we have already discussed with it. Now, how the media reporting has to be. Now, especially in the digital era, the media is most highlighting the important aspects on the headlines, which can attract the eyeballs. More than the headline, which is similar or which is sticking to the storyline, attracting the eyeballs is becoming more and more important. Now in this context, many people do not read the entire content of the newspaper. They just try to move away from the headliner. In this context, it's providing for an information asymmetry. So the changing scenario in the media industry has to address this. Not the headlines. The story has to reflect the headline, not the headline to meet the eyeball. Next is contestation in Delhi. Again, we have discussed this in detail. Between the Chief Minister of Delhi and the elected government of Delhi versus the Lieutenant Governor Mr. Jang. So what are the constitutional provisions? All these are discussed, which I don't want to get into this now. Now SC/ST Atrocities Act. Now this is the act which is most misused and on the other hand said to be most empowering. So it defines what is an atrocity against the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. But however, to conceive or else the status of the victim itself is sufficient to establish a guilt. So in this context, if an SC/ST person, he can directly go and complain about a forward caste person on an atrocity. So that's why it is being misused most of the times for harassment of the upper caste. So in this context, more protections the government wanted to bring in are more safeguards under the SC/ST Act, where atrocity is, as of now, is a criminal offence. The bill tries to bring in the illegal occupation of the land, either forcibly, non-forcibly. So the second thing is forcing members of the SC/ST vote or not to vote, or neglecting of your duties by an officer who do not belong to SC/STs. In protection of the SC/STs, all these are being made as the criminal offences now. Now with regard to this, neglect of your duties, either be it is by an SC/ST officer or a officer from an upper caste, it has to be treated equally. You cannot differentiate the officials on negligence of a duty based on their caste, which appears to be a retrogressive step over here. Anyone is an SC/ST person or an upper caste person, it means that you are assuming that being from an upper caste, he was negligent on the duty. You are giving caste affiliations on the line of duty for a particular officer. So the same case, if SC/ST person neglects a particular duty, how it can be explained? So the bringing the caste details into the functioning of an officer, it's going to bring in what is said to be as a politicized bureaucracy. And next is illegal occupying of the land. Government gives many of the pattas or this particular land titles to the SCs and STs. Now these lands, assigned lands, if they are being sold or bought, so both the parties have to be punished for this. Now, if a scheduled caste person sells his land to an upper caste person, as per the changes which are being conceived, it can be set as an illegal occupation of the land, and that person can be forced and a criminal offence can be filed against him. It means that the land of a scheduled caste or scheduled tribes, so the saleability of the land will be totally prohibited because of these provisions. So these are the amendments which the government is trying to bring in. Now 3D printing, if you talk about this, I have seen this printer. It gives you amazing opportunities. One of my friends is an architect. He brought this 3D printer. Now if he wants to design something where he has to depend upon a machinery or anything else for that matter, here just he can give an input of a design of his choice. The powder will shape into that particular element. It means he can create whatever he likes, whatever his mind thinks. And endless opportunities for creativity are coming through this 3D printing. The future belongs to this. Now, for example, if I want to create a new design, so it means I don't need to be stopped by an idea that is that design is available, can it be manufactured or not. Now anything and everything can be manufactured with 3D printing. But however, the 3D printing allows it only for a small scale manufacturing. Now the inventions further go into the manufacturing sector to understand our integrated circuits everywhere, to understand how to build these particular things. The next is on the Sun TV network recently, the Ministry of Home Affairs declared it as a security threat because the promoters are having criminal offences pending on them. Based on this, or else it did not renew their permission to broadcast. Now understand that there is no complaint about the content that is threat to the sovereignty of the nation or a security of the nation. Just there are certain criminal offences pending before the promoters. So a big channel network or a news disseminator is not being throttled to death. So it means it's a clear expression of the freedom of expression. The Supreme Court has clearly clarified that there has to be reasonable restrictions on this freedom of speech and expression. And freedom to disseminate and receive information also clarified to be under the Article 19(1)(a). So in this way, so vague rules which are occasionally used, they are strengthening the arms of the government through throttle the media and also to show vengeance against any institution that is showing negativity or showing a criticism against the government of the day, either it is NGOs, media or anything for that particular matter. This Satilwad, you can see that she has been considered now as a security threat to the nation. The media houses, now it has been with the electronic media, tomorrow the same provisions can be expanded to the print media too. So in this context, let me remember this, the Supreme Court judgment. So what it has said is, every law, it has to be unambiguous and clear and has to provide for one single interpretation at the ground level. In the Shreya Singhal case, this is what the Supreme Court has spoke about. It means that unclear laws, lack of objectivity, and these are all undermining the right situation in the country that can be expected from this. So these are the articles of importance for today. And thank you very much. So again, there are nothing new in this today's newspaper. So but try to understand why the gold prices are dropping. Thank you very much.